Hey 2LA fam, in today's video we're going to give you our thoughts on our trip to Belize, as well as a bit of a review, some things that we did, some things that we didn't, and overall what we loved and didn't love about Belize. Welcome
to Love and Adventure.
Unless you arrive in Belize on a cruise ship, you're going to have to fly in, and most likely that will be into the Belize International Airport, or BZE. Getting through customs was fairly uneventful and a fairly short line, pretty well organized. No complaints at all here. This airport is pretty small, so not a whole lot of walking around needed. I believe it was 10 gates or less at the entire airport. If you've ever been to a smaller airport in the US, it's going to be pretty similar to that. You're going to board and unboard the plane on the tarmac. Everyone that we met in Belize was super friendly, super helpful. Of course, there are going to be your outliers, but we have no complaints at all about the people. They were top notch, and we're willing to bet that you will have a similar experience as well.
Victor. Nice meeting you. Good to meet you. Malik. But it wasn't bad.
Right. Ready, my name is Maribel.
Maribel?
Maribel and Victor.
Okay. Yeah, we met Victor. He picked us up. So the
Both, he's a tour
How you
guide,
doing, man?
and also he got.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Thank
take
you.
care, man.
Yeah.
My name is Sean.
Sean and Gilly.
smells like fish. Seaweed.
Caye Caulker was the perfect island for us. It was our speed. Unlike San Pedro, there's no automobile traffic at all on this island. It is strictly golf cart traffic, which is fine by us. You can rent a golf cart, or you can have someone drive you around for a fee as well. From what we saw, it was going to be somewhere between $80 to about $100 for 24 hours to rent a golf cart, or somewhere in the vicinity of $20 to $40 per person per hour if you wanted a golf cart tour. That was just one of the things that you can do, but mainly what we did in Caye Caulker was a lot of eating and a lot of relaxing. This trip for us was for us to recharge, take in some sun, hang out in the tropics, but not do a whole lot. And if that's your speed, Caye Caulker is the island for you. As you can see from above, Caye Caulker is a beautiful island. It's not that wide, just about a mile wide, I believe, and not that long, just about 25 miles long from one end to the other. There is a part of the island that is called the Split, where the island is literally split in half. I believe that was because of a hurricane that came through many, many years ago. But as a result, it kind of became a bit of a tourist spot. There are lots of things to do there at the Split, as well as, of course, many restaurants and bars and water activities. So this is one of the number one attractions in Caye Caulker.
Magic Grill. Restaurant and bar, Caye Caulker.
We have a pretty strict diet, strict-ish. So for us, the food was perfect. Seafood is very plentiful in our diet, and if you're someone that likes seafood, Caye Caulker is the island for you. I guess maybe Belize in general, if you like Latin-inspired seafood. Most restaurants were open air or did not have air conditioning, so going at night was probably the best decision to make because the weather is pretty mild at night.
Well, this place is packed too. Oh, that's that basketball court.
Something else that we noticed, and maybe to keep in mind, I think there is a difference between local restaurants, meaning locally owned, and all of the rest. I didn't really do a lot of research, but there were signs noticeable on some of the restaurants that made you aware that they were owned and operated by someone native to the country. And personally, that's important to Misha and myself. So we sought out these restaurants to make sure that we were giving back to the local community.
And that's the regular. But these look really good. Thank you. All right. Jerk shrimp. Regular shrimp.
There's really not a whole lot more that needs to be said about the food. If you're going to make Caye Caulker your destination and you're going to be there for any extended amount of time, you're going to want to familiarize yourself with the local shops. Their supermarkets are more like what we would consider a bodega or corner store. None of them that we've experienced had AC. Really, none of the buildings have AC outside of your hotel room. But when you're indoors, it's bearable. This is one of the many supermarkets that they had here in Caye Caulker. We visited a few of them, and ironically enough, all of the supermarkets that we visited were not locally owned.
Nice. We're here.
Something else to keep in mind, I would say, in the Western world, don't use what you would consider the star rating, say a 4 or 5 star for your resorts in Caye Caulker. They're just different than what we are used to. The cost of this resort was about what you would pay for a pretty nice 4-star resort. And in my opinion, it was about the equivalent of a 2.5, maybe 3-star. Caye Caulker has several resorts and hotels scattered throughout the island for you to choose from. Although Misha and I opted out of the excursions and adventure tours that you can take advantage of in Belize, there are so many things that you can do, starting with, I believe it's called Raga Selling Adventures. We met one of their tour guides and fishermen on our way out of Belize and decided that this is something that we would probably look into on our next time here in Belize. Also, of course, as mentioned before, there's a split. There is the Great Blue Hole. So many things to do here in the Belizean Islands. And if you're staying in a resort, refer to them for assistance or just do a quick Google search for ideas. Okay, now to the nitty gritty, exactly what you've been waiting for, our thoughts on what we did and did not like about Belize. So overall, I would rate our experience, my experience in Belize, an 8.5 out of 10.
I think for me, I would say a 7 out of 10 with the potential to be an 8.5 or a 9. So the reason why this trip to Belize was a 7 out of 10 for me, one, because I had a higher expectation for the accommodations, so that was a little different. And then I almost wish that we took advantage of more of the sightseeing opportunities. And so that's why there's a potential for me for it to be a 8.5 or a 9.
And for me, it's an 8.5 because the accommodations weren't that surprising for me. But I did mention before they could be disappointing if you're expecting something close to what you're going to get in the US for the same price. You're just not going to get it. The island is a little more expensive than I would have liked. The exchange rate is 2 for 1, so basically $2 for every $1 Belizean dollar. And there's a bit of a disconnect sometimes with the locals as to what price you're paying, if you're paying US or you're paying Belizean. But overall, an 8.5 out of 9 is my review, and that's basically because my expectations weren't that high to begin with.
So also, I think that you rated the food probably higher than I would have. I'm a little pickier anyway. I'm definitely a potatoes with my breakfast kind of girl. And being on the island, there's going to be limits to what is grown on the island. So I think that was a lesson for me in expectation, both with the accommodations and with the food. But once we found something we liked, I kept getting it because it was very good.
And one more thing, we can't end this video without talking about the bugs. They were a problem. Mosquitoes can be bothersome, but most of the resorts, at least our resort, they actually provided you with bug spray. So you could spray that all over yourself, and it did help a lot.
Oh, it helped tremendously. And I'm happy I think we kept it the whole time.
We did. They allowed us to keep it. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought about our list, our thoughts, our suggestions, what we loved and what we did not like about Belize. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next week.